Paul B. Carroll, by Paul B. Carroll. $1 Billion Lessons. What you can learn from the most inexcusable business failures of the last two, first edition, hardcover. In $1 Billion Lessons, Paul B. Carroll explores the reasons behind major business failures from the early 1970s to the end of the first decade of the 21st century. The book delves into the strategies used by leaders of these businesses and reveals that nearly half of all avoidable failures arise from 7 misguided strategies. From overestimating synergy revenues to relying on flawed financial engineering, these strategies highlight the pitfalls often encountered in the world of business. The book serves as a guide for learning from the mistakes of the past, with practical advice on how to anticipate risks and equip oneself with the tools needed to make sound decisions, ultimately avoiding major failures.
Seven strategies leading to corporate bankruptcy. Over 400 American companies with combined assets worth $1.5 trillion went bankrupt between the early 1970s and the end of the first decade of the 21st century. Nearly half of these failures could have been prevented if their leaders had recognized and avoided certain risks. The most common mistakes that led to failure were one or more of the 7 strategies identified in the book. Failing to realize synergy revenues. Many executives overlook the potential revenue synergies that could result from mergers due to lack of detailed research, costing their companies a lot of money. Achieving synergy goals is often challenging because of the lack of compatibility in organizational culture and systems. Also, companies frequently overpay for acquisitions. To avoid such losses, before a merger, assess the potential cost synergies that a merger can offer by quantifying potential costs and checking whether eliminated departmental expenses will shift to another. Additionally, it is crucial to identify the people who might resist the merger to ensure that managers won't feel threatened by it. The theoretical assumptions of achieving revenue synergies may not be possible in practice. Synergy is more prominent for strategists than it is for customers, leading to a tendency for overestimation. In essence, synergy should not be relied upon as a foundation for a merger, rather, it should be viewed as an opportunity that needs critical examination. Synergy is essential, but when deciding whether to merge, a company should prioritize cultural fit, organizational readiness, and financial benefits over it. Beware of financial engineering. Relying on financial engineering strategies can expose your business to incommensurate risk and weaken its stability. Green Tree Financial Corporation's case is an example of how manipulating financial reports can have catastrophic consequences, leading to loss of investor confidence and unwanted scrutiny from regulators. When companies rely heavily on financial engineering strategies, they become vulnerable to market changes, and the feedback loop of engineering tends to be unsustainable. Therefore, before applying creative accounting, companies need to consider the actual cash flow and avoid financial engineering if it doesn't result in real cash flow. The book advises against engaging in financial engineering and warns that external factors can lead to unforeseeable circumstances, making this strategy obsolete. Companies should have a long-term perspective and focus on building a sustainable business rather than seeking quick profits through financial engineering. The pitfalls of roll-ups. Roll-ups fall short due to the common but flawed strategies businesses embrace, resulting in financial loss. The 4 faulty strategies include pursuing scale without achieving economies, making unsustainable acquisitions, failing to effectively integrate companies, and improper planning for negative contingencies. Before pursuing roll-ups, businesses are advised to ask essential questions to avoid financial loss and prevent fraud. The key to business is avoiding the wrong answers and executing possible right answers. Kodak's failure to adapt. Eastman Kodak, the leading photographic film company, failed to anticipate the digital revolution and was too slow to react to the changing industry. While its competitor, Fuji, adapted by investing in new technologies and moving into the digital world, Kodak missed the opportunity and lost 75% of its stock market value in a decade. The failure to explore alternatives, such as selling its business or creating a new business model, contributed to Kodak's downfall. Leaders can avoid falling into the same trap by analyzing blind spots and developing a business model that accounts for potential threats. Economist Michael Porter recommends evaluating the industry structure and competitive landscape to determine whether it favors decline, and considering alternative strategies if necessary. If a company finds itself in a declining industry and cannot compete, it may be time to sell the business. However, for companies with viable options and potential for adaptation, exploring alternative strategies, such as seeking niche markets or investing in new technologies, may be the key to survival. Adjacency moves, avoiding business failures. A study by Bain Company on 1,850 companies over 5 years revealed that 75% of adjacency moves fail, but only 13% of businesses achieved sustainable growth. For common behaviors are seen in failed adjacency moves, including moving into an adjacent market due to a change in core business rather than an external market opportunity. Executives often overestimate the competitive position and strength of their core business's capabilities in a new market and mismanage challenges because they lack expertise in the adjacency market. By examining the new market systematically, evaluating the differences between it and the current market, and aiming for a 30% cost advantage, businesses can avoid making these mistakes. Avoiding fatal technological mistakes. Embracing new technology can be fatal for firms if not done in the right way. In order to avoid failure, firms must perform detailed market research, consider alternative technologies, avoid false assumptions, and take a gradual approach to infrastructure building. It's essential to critically analyze performance trajectories and assess measurable technology-specific factors before investing in new technology. The potential market's existence should be evaluated, not just the ability to beat rivals to it. Additionally, firms need to assess how quickly new technology could change the market and adapt accordingly. The risks of consolidating. Consolidating industries may not necessarily lead to increased profitability, and buying a company could be doubling down on a bad hand, especially when unforeseen challenges arise. The assets being purchased should be carefully considered to avoid hidden problems. Retaining customers after consolidation is not a guarantee, and increasing business complexity could lead to diseconomies of scale. Before consolidating, it is essential to consider other options, such as selling or doing nothing to avoid unforeseen challenges. Cognitive biases and organizational failure. This book highlights common cognitive biases that lead individuals and organizations to make poor decisions. The author discusses how people struggle to think abstractly and objectively, often falling prey to confirmation bias. Additionally, the book examines how interpersonal and organizational issues can lead to bad strategies. The author warns that faulty tools and overconfident projections amplify the problem, and companies need to be aware of CEOs' personal interest pressures. To avoid these issues, the author proposes a critical approach to decision-making, emphasizing the need to learn from mistakes and encourage open communication. Effective disagreement in business. The book emphasizes the importance of constructive disagreement in businesses and provides 9 ways of fostering it. In Thinking in Bets, author Annie Duke explores the role of emotions and irrational behavior in the business world, highlighting the importance of constructive disagreement as a means of ensuring rational decision-making. According to Duke, disagreement can clarify ideas, prompt imaginative solutions, clear up biases, and flesh out risks. She outlines 9 ways businesses can foster effective disagreement. Firstly, choose someone you trust to play devil's advocate and share an opposing viewpoint. Secondly, figure out whether your established methods slow your team and hinder decision-making. Thirdly, lay out a clear process for making decisions and ensure leaders perform due diligence before reacting. Fourthly, examine history to learn from past failures and successes. Fifthly, when making corporate commitments, frame your forecasts as personal bets to ensure clear estimates. Sixthly, imagine worst-case scenarios and plan for them as a team. Seventhly, have feedback mechanisms in place and the flexibility to alter course if necessary. Eighthly, Create a formal escalation process to enable necessary information and opposing views to reach leaders, even if this means breaking the ordinary chain of communication. Finally, schedule meetings so team members can voice objections before big strategic moves. Duke argues that businesses should develop an independent devil's advocate review before finalizing significant deals. She suggests finding someone unbiased, such as a retired senior executive, to argue against an idea and look for holes in the strategy. The underlying message of thinking in bets is that humans are flawed, and these flaws can lead to bad decisions. Leaders must demand frank discussion, not mass consensus and deference, to avoid repeating mistakes of the past. By fostering constructive disagreement, businesses can ensure they make rational, well-informed decisions that pave the way for success.
Billion-Dollar Lessons sheds light on the key factors that lead to major business failures, highlighting valuable lessons for every reader to develop a deeper understanding of business strategy. Providing insights on synergy revenues, financial engineering, roll-ups, ignoring threats, adjacency moves, embracing wrong technology, consolidation mishaps, and challenges faced by leaders. This book is a valuable resource for anyone looking to avoid fatal mistakes in the world of business. By examining past failures as real-life lessons and adopting an open-minded approach to problem-solving and adaptation, executives and entrepreneurs can expect to make more informed and profitable decisions in their own enterprises, successfully avoiding the same fate as many of the businesses described by Paul B. Carroll.